Hey fam, what's up, what's up, what's up? This is Robert Anton here, robertanton.com, and I am coming to you once again with your no frills commentary from a singer. Tonight we were watching The Voice performance show. It is finally to the live shows, let me tell you, and not a moment too soon. This is the first episode, and we had TeamBlake going up against TeamXtina, X-Tina as I will often say. And I just want to start out to tell you guys how many ways you can vote. And I know many of you are already voting, but if you have not voted already, for next week, the many ways you can vote. You can vote by calling, by texting, by downloading the song, so a vote, downloading the song. You can vote on the Facebook page and by going to the website. All right, so we kicked off the show and immediately there was some hijinks from CeeLo. CeeLo comes on and I'm looking at it and I'm like, where did all this hair come from? And he's got hair here, but then he's got his shirt open and he's got all his hair showing. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. So him and Adam were joking because Adam got his hair cut and he had a nice little like a military like fade, you know. And he was saying, oh, that's my hair, you know. They are too many things, let me tell you. But it is I think it's very enjoyable to watch the banter between most of the coaches that's going on because it really adds a little extra flavor to the show. First up for the performance, we had Jermaine Paul, 33-year-old. He did Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, which I've also covered on my It's Our Anton channel if you want to go check that out. I wrote he had a dramatic entry with the lift coming from under the stairs, the only one of the night to have that entry with all the smoke going and stuff like that. For the vocal, I was underwhelmed by his high notes, but he had a nice intensity throughout, and he tried to make it his own. You know, every chance he gave a little riff where he did a little bitty change or something like that. So I thought he handled the last notes really good in full voice. It was nice, it was kind of gravelly, but it was also bordering on like being like closing up his throat. So I don't know. This one was kind of in the middle of the road for me. I like his presence. I like the way he worked the stage and everything. And I liked his attack. His attack was really good. But I don't know, vocally, it was just okay for me. Next up was Chris Mann. He did Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. And for me, he had the right balance of emotion and technique. He had really nice little changes to the melody and just perfect dynamics. I mean, the way he held out those notes and brought this real slow and then had this really, just everything was just so well put together. Plus, I saw that he was really connecting with the audience and singing to his girlfriend or wife. I don't know which one it is. I don't remember. But, I mean, he was really emoting and doing everything. I thought it was a beautiful and a touching performance. Make sure if you enjoy my commentaries or if you don't, if you are enjoying this at the moment, that you go ahead and thumb this video up now for me. There's a lot more to come. There were 12 performances, a 2-hour show, and we got 10 more to go. RaeLynn was up next. She did Wake Up Call by Maroon 5. As one of the youngest in the competition, I really couldn't tell as far as her stage presence. She commanded the stage very well, but I wasn't really feeling her voice on this song. And I didn't catch a lot of the words. I don't know the song. I haven't heard it before. And I was listening to see what she was talking about, and I wasn't catching a lot of the words. She had some very interesting movements that kept me entertained, though. You know, she was jumping around the stage, and as Christina said, she was shaking her hips and all. But I just wasn't really feeling the overall performance. I think she did a lot better in her last few performances. Blake said she was representing the new generation of country music so well. But it seemed to me like Christina was biting her tongue about the vocals. She was trying not to, you know, disparage the girl. But I just didn't think it was great vocally, and I just thought it was out there. I didn't enjoy it. Moses Stone was up next. He did Stronger, Power, medley of Kanye West songs. He started out with a decent vocal in the beginning until he hit the falsetto. I was like, This was definitely a high performance energy show for him, and he commanded the stage very well and delivered. I wrote he delivered with star power. I was rooting for him. I thought it was a very nice performance. He got into all the little elements and did his thing. I really, really enjoyed it. They came back from commercial and had Betty White in the audience. So someone had actually tweeted that Betty White had came in and like the whole section gave her a standing ovation. Carson Daly was standing next to her and said, "Oh, you here to promote your new show?" And she was like, "No, not really. I came to see that delicious Blake Shelton." And then she went off into the promotion of the show. just great. I love her. Next up was Naia Kete. She did Turning Tables by Adele. Just her and the guitar starting out kind of showed her weaknesses to me. I thought that, when you're singing on the street, you don't have you don't have to be as perfect. You can have a whole lot more grit and stuff like that. And this song seemed to needed a lot of finesse and everything, which is something that I don't feel like she had. She did seem well connected to the material, and I love the violin squad behind her. She nailed good some of the high notes near the end, which was really nice, and I like that a lot better than the softer portions of the song from her. I thought that she gave really good emotion, but not so good vocals in those lighter parts. Lindsey Pavloo was next. She did Somebody I Used to Know by Gotye. I have never heard this song before. She looked great. And the dancers were kind of weirdly cool to me. They're kind of spooky, kind of creepy, but I thought they were cool, right? Again, I don't know the song, but the vocal was very solid with great control and emotion. Very interesting performance. Lindsey seemed unhappy with Adam's critique at the end, but she didn't come in strong enough with the chorus. That's what he said. And Christina had told her the same thing in her coaching, that, she really needed to bring that chorus. And I guess she really didn't get to that point, and Adam knows the song, and he was little not satisfied with it, and she was not satisfied with his critique. Jordis Unga was next. She did Alone by Heart, and I liked her sitting start, but when she got to the changes and stuff, I wasn't as crazy about it. She seemed to be trying to calm her nerves or short of breath, because usually when a singer is holding their stomach often throughout a performance, it's either the nerves or they're having a hard time getting breath control. So it was one or the other, and I don't know which one specifically. I think it probably was more the nerves coming from her, because she seems to be very well supported. I thought it was a good performance, though just because, and I'm usually not one to really compare, but just because Erica Van Pelt just did this song on American Idol, I couldn't help, it was still in my ears, I couldn't help to compare it. And for me, Erica's came off a lot better, a lot more controlled, just not as screamy, as screechy. It is what it is. That's how I felt about it. Sera Hill was up next. She did Find Your Love by Drake, a really interesting choice. I loved her styling, the way she looked, and everything. I just thought it was different. It was interesting, and it was something that you would bring as an overall package for somebody that's going to be a star. Her vocals were flawless on this, but I think they could have lost, personally, I think they could have lost half the dancers. And Blake was totally stuck on, we had strippers on the stage, It's just like, yeah, and we could have used a whole lot less of them, but I think it went pretty well. Erin Willett was up next. She did Livin' for the City. Stevie Wonder, I was really... Okay, let me see. She started out at the piano before getting up to bring it to the audience, right? I like the staging, and her voice was definitely riding a nice wave on this. I think I enjoyed her more tonight than her last two performances. She brought some true power and sass to me, and she had control. She didn't overdo it. It was just a really well done performance for me, and the staging did not hurt. I really enjoyed them, kind of being in a little nightclub setting. That was really, really nice. Ashley De La Rosa was up next. She did Right Through You by Alanis Morissette. And this is one I really didn't expect and was pleasantly surprised. She was solid vocally and brought a lot of energy and stage presence. Even to playing with the guitarist and kind of rocking out here and there. She was really getting into it. It really felt authentic to me. And she reminded me so much of Jordin Sparks. Oh my God, I was like, does anybody else see this? She's reminding me so much of Jordin Sparks. I'm not even gonna go there what I was about to say. Adam said she was the most improved of everybody there. Now, Christina Milian was coming onto, she was, handling the room, where they were doing all the tweeting and stuff like that. And she was looking gorgeous, let me tell you. They called it the Sprint Lounge. Charlotte Sometimes was up next. She did Misery Business by Paramore. I don't think this song did her voice any favors. For some reason, it just didn't sit well for her, though I thought she gave it a valiant try. For one, in the beginning, when she came down the stairs, and I think she was trying to get into the emotion of it, but a lot of times when you raise your head up and sing down at people, it doesn't come off very well. It becomes off, I think, as I'm looking down at you. And it's something that generally actors use when they're trying to be aristocratic and, all of this, and you are. So it didn't really jive with me. And maybe, I don't know what was going on, but it just didn't, I just didn't think the song sounded good in her voice, even though she does have a very nice voice. Adam said he heard a lot of pitch issues. Blake said he didn't hear pitch problems. But I wrote he does never hear pitch problems, and I don't think he has a very good ear personally. Last up in the pimp spot was Jesse Campbell. He did What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. And the audience, when they announced him, started standing up immediately. I just saw this as the cameras were panning. They started standing up immediately for him. Let me tell you, he really does for me. And I'm going to get flowery here, okay? And I wrote all this stuff, right? He really does some wonderful things with his notes. And I think I talked about this before. I think another coach was, or one of the mentors was talking about this. He really liked, in this song for me, he caressed and rapped and pampered these notes in this song before sending them on their way to the audience. He really made love to this song for me and presented it and gave it as like a present. I really enjoyed everything that he did. I thought it may have been a little bit too flourishy at points, but as I was watching, I felt everything that he was doing, which was, for me, it was amazing because he just has so much everything. He's got it all. He's got the full package. And I really enjoyed everything he did. And the last note, he seems to have always pulled some little trick out of his bag. The last note, he went on a little roller coaster, little roller coaster. He went, he took the note and then he went down, back up. And I was just like, oh my God. Everybody was like, what? They were looking out like, you better work, boy. Just an awe-inspiring performance for me. Adam called him the one to beat. And then I think Blake said something, and then Christina said, aren't you glad that you're the one? I forget exactly what she said, but she basically said she was the only sober coach on the panel. I don't know if the rest of them have been drinking or were drinking or not, but what did you think of the show? Did you enjoy it? It was long. It was a long 2 hours. It did not fly by, I'm sorry to say. But I thought there were some really good performances. Let me know what you thought. The voters will decide 3 artists from each team to stay. And then I think some people will get to sing again. I don't think they made it very clear. Let me know if you figured out exactly what they're saying. But each of the coaches will also save one person. So 8 people, it seems, will be moving on to the next round. The results show is Tuesday night at 9 p.m., not 8 p.m. And tomorrow, Gym Class Heroes will be performing. All right, this is Robert Anton, robertanton.com. I am out. Check out my So You Want to Be a Singer series right here on YouTube and my Originals playlist.